get in line.
Yeah. Better than I thought.
We have them at United.
Remind everybody that there's a fire. I guess there's the long ones. Yeah, are you better?
Oh my God, I can see everywhere. Yep. Get them done. It was easy.
What about make sure you're taking some photos? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mark.
For those of you who don't have candles and would like one, there still are candles with protectors available here at the desk. Either after the vigil, if you'd like to come up and sign our guest book with your contact information, we can make sure that you'll get information about things that are going on in West Hartford that's important to you as voters and residents, as well as information about our candidates that are running for municipal office. So be sure to do that if that's what you want. So thank you.
Is that okay that I'm bringing some back?
Yes, of course. But I thought of that. So yeah, we're on the same wavelength.
How are you?
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Of course. Thanks for doing it.
Sure, we don't have a lighter.
No, I got one.
Oh, cool. Excuse me, I'm just... Is it okay if I pass out some more candles? Yep.
Please.
Is there... Thank you.
Hey, Ariel. Okay. How are you? Thanks for coming.
Hold that.
I got it, thank you.
I know.
Can I have the candidates come? Yeah. Let's have you guys up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Aren't I missing a fifth?
Sean, where are we speaking from?
Here.
Oh, right here.
Hello. Welcome.
I'm missing 7.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was something. It's like people are really getting
Okay. Awesome.
All right, folks, we're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. Just a couple of minutes.
Well, it was funny. I had it to the right, and then I was like, it probably should be in the middle. It's okay. I'd rather us squint than people squint. I'm thankful for it.
gonna do you.
You know all my stuff.
Gave out as many as I could.
Here you go. Here's the bottom.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Gail, do you want me to start while I've got people trying to get candles? You sure? What? I don't know where. Okay. Oh, yes.
All right, folks, we're going to get started. So,
First of all,
thank you, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's hope.
this.
Is that better? Can people hear? Yeah, there we go. Okay.
For those of you, for those, hey, where's Ari?
There we go. Okay. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sean Daly. I am the chairman of the West Hartford Republican Town Committee here in West Hartford. Thank you. This is a great showing. We really appreciate it. How the evening is going to work here is I'm going to give a quick invocation, and then I'll have a little bit of a speech, and then I'm going to introduce Maryanne Turner, who is our state GOP vice chair, as well as Amy Choi, who is running for John Larson's seat here in the 1st Congressional District. And then I'm going to be introducing our 4 of our candidates in West Hartford that are running for municipal office. So let's get everything started. You can bow your heads if you'd like. Friends, neighbors, and fellow citizens, we gather tonight under the stillness of the evening sky, bound together by grief, by love, and by purpose. We come not only to mourn the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk, but also to honor his life, his voice, and the values he stood for. In moments like this, when darkness seems overwhelming, we remind ourselves that light is stronger, hope is stronger, and truth will always endure. Charlie was more than a leader. He was a fighter for freedom and a voice for the voiceless. He challenged us to stand for our convictions, but also to reach across divides and see the shared dignity in one another. His legacy calls us not to retreat into despair, but to rise with conviction, to link arms in unity, and to remain steadfast in the values that make our nation strong: faith, liberty, family, and community. As we pause tonight, let this gathering, thank you. As we pause tonight, let this gathering be a testimony that even in the face of violence, we will not be silenced, that even in tragedy, we will not surrender to fear. Instead, we will carry forward the torch Charlie held high, with compassion in our hearts and strength in our voices. May this vigil be both a remembrance and recommitment, a time to grieve, yes, but also a time to rededicate ourselves to truth, justice, and principles of freedom that Charlie so deeply cherished. May we find comfort in one another and courage in the path ahead. Amen. So I want to thank, first of all, there's a few folks I would like to thank. I'd like to thank the law enforcement officers of the West Hartford Police for their presence and unwavering commitment to public safety. Whether it's keeping our streets safe or as a resource officer protecting our schools, or in your help to manage an event like tonight, we are forever grateful for everything that you do. I also want to thank our committee members of the West Hartford Republican Town Committee, our incumbent municipal representatives, and our endorsed candidates running for office for helping the town committee put this together in such a short amount of time. I want to mention that we did reach out across the aisle, and we did invite the Democrat Town Committee to join us, as well as Mayor Cantor. The mayor was not able to be here tonight, but she did mention to Al Cortez, one of our Republican representatives on the town council, she did mention how much she appreciated that we extended the invitation to her and others. And of course, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight to celebrate the life of Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA. We gather tonight in honor of Charlie Kirk, a man who reminded us that courage is contagious, that one voice can spark a movement, and that conservative values remain the backbone of our great nation. While I didn't know Charlie personally, I certainly have seen enough of his videos on social media to feel like I knew him as a long-distance friend. I can tell you that Charlie believed in America because he believed in Americans. He believed in our ability to rise above division, to meet our neighbors where they are, and to engage in honest debate with respect. He showed us that being conservative does not mean being closed off. It means being rooted, grounded, and committed to the truth. Now more than ever, our community here in West Hartford and across the nation needs that spirit. We live in a time of polarization when it is easy to point fingers and harder to extend hands. But Charlie taught us both were necessary. Extend a hand to your neighbor, but never let go of the values that make us who we are. So yes, we reach across the aisle, we show kindness, we build bridges, we listen. But let us never forget that moral clarity matters. Family matters. Faith matters. Hard work and accountability matters. Freedom matters. These are not just Republican values, they're American values. Timeless truths that anchor us in an ever-changing world. Charlie called on us to be bold, not reckless, not angry, but bold. Bold enough to defend free speech when it's under attack, bold enough to defend women's sports when fairness is at stake, bold enough to say life is sacred and liberty is non-negotiable. Tonight is more than a vigil, it's a rallying cry, a reminder that we as Republicans are not here to tear down, but to build up. Not here to silence, but to speak truth. Not here to divide, but to remind America of her promise. So let us leave tonight with gratitude for Charlie's life, with respect for one another, and with a renewed commitment to carry the torch of conservative values into our schools, our communities, and yes, even across the aisle. Because when we do, we don't just honor Charlie, we honor America. Thank you. May God bless all of you. May God bless West Hartford, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our Vice Chair of the State of Connecticut, GOP. Ladies and gentlemen, Maryanne Turner.
I'm right behind you.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Sean. Hello, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to West Hartford. Thank you, Sean, for the opportunity to speak this evening. Probably this evening you're going to hear things be repeated. But maybe we're those kind of people, when we run elections, we always say we have to touch people 7 times for them to hear us and to feel us. Well, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We are gathered here tonight with heavy hearts because we've lost something. Not just a man and not just a friend, but a piece of what makes us whole. Here's the truth. Many of us never met Charlie face to face. I'm one of those. I did not get to meet Charlie. We may not have shaken his hand or sat across the table from him or had been able to break bread with him, but we felt him. We felt his energy he brought, the message he carried, in a way that he refused to let important things go unnoticed. His presence reached further than the people who knew him best, because Charlie had a way of making sure he was heard. Charlie did want the spotlight, but not for his own glory. He wanted it so the message could be heard. Like the messenger stepping into the town square, Charlie called out and kept calling until people paid attention. He didn't just show up quietly. He demanded space because he knew attention was the first step to change. That kind of persistence is rare. And when a voice like that suddenly goes silent, it leaves a major hole in all of us, bigger than we probably expected. But let me say this. If we do is stand together tonight and talk about the loss, then his work ends right here. That'll be the end of it. And that cannot be what he would have wanted. Charlie's life was not about endings. It was about pushing things forward, spreading a message, making sure no one said, "I didn't know." He believed that one person willing to speak out, willing to show up, could move people, and he proved it. And now the responsibility is ours. We don't have to go to the streets in anger. We don't have to shout for the sake of shouting. What we do need to do is come together as a collective, steady, united, and clear. When we don't agree, talk about it. If you have a better idea, share it. That's where the strength lies, and that's how we'll make sure his voice doesn't vanish into silence. Charlie deserves more than the kind words and the fading memories. He deserves our follow-through. He deserves to see his message carried on in us, in your elected people, and what they have to say and what they do, and how we show up for one another for any reason. Tonight, we didn't just lose something, we lost someone, Charlie Kirk.
Thank you, Maryanne. Appreciate your words. Next up, I would like to introduce everybody to Amy Choi. Amy is running for the, did I say that right, Amy?
It's chai, like
Chai, like the tea, I'm sorry. Amy Chai, who is running for against John Larson in the 1st Congressional District, which touches here in West Hartford. So, Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Chai. I'm a physician, I'm a mother, I'm an author, and I homeschooled high school for my children. And now I'm running for Congress in the 1st District. But today is not about me, it is about Charlie. And I saw a video and someone asked him what he wanted to be remembered for. And he wanted to be remembered for being courageous for his faith. So I want to acknowledge Charlie Kirk's faith, and I don't think we should be ashamed to speak about good and evil, or our faith, or what we believe. And I think that's why so many of us were just absolutely wrecked when we heard the news, and I haven't been myself for a while now. And it's because that shot was aimed at us, because we are Charlie, and we see an evil looming. Let me explain it just a little bit. I treat addicted homeless people who are addicted to fentanyl. That's my job. And there was a survey done asking physicians and patients what would help them cure their addiction the most. And of course the doctors said more money, stable housing, access to health care. But do you know what the patients said? They said spiritual support. And Jesus. That's exactly what they said. They need connection. They need human connection. Broken people, hurting people, people that have no human connection, those are the people who hate. And we can't respond to that with hate. We have to respond to that with love. And I'm going to ask every single one of you, if you are a praying person, to say a prayer for those people who are rejoicing right now at Charlie's death. Because those people are hurting. There's something wrong in their heart. And they need healing from that. And I genuinely believe that with all my heart. And debates don't always win people's hearts. What wins people's hearts is connection. And that's what we have to do. We have to connect with people. And I have to admit that I'm ashamed of myself sometimes for I enjoy kind of jabbing people online. You know, it's like, haha, I'm smarter than you. Let me take you down with this argument. You know, and it's fun. It's fun. And Charlie did too, but I was a debater and I coached debate too, so I just love debate. But you know what? Maybe it isn't debate that matters. Maybe it's your heart that matters. And I just wanted to say that I feel like we're kind of staring into the abyss. The outer darkness, if you will, is there. But darkness isn't real. Darkness does not exist. Darkness is nothing but the absence of light. And what we need to do right now is to be the light that the world needs to see, and don't be afraid. Be courageous like Charlie. Je suis Charlie.
Thank you, Amy. Now I'd like to introduce some of our candidates locally here in West Hartford that are running for municipal office for town council. In order of alphabetical order, just because it's easier for me to have it in my head, let me introduce you. Currently, she is your one of your Republican representatives on the Board of Education, and she's running now for town council this November. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gail Harris.
Thank you, Sean. So we're gathered here today to remember Charlie Kirk, a young, vibrant, 31-year-old man, married with 2 children, who was murdered in cold blood for speech that someone decided was worth taking his life for. He is not the only person murdered for speech in this country, but I am hoping that he will be the last. Charlie represented the best of us. He was a passionate, bright man who was willing to go out and engage those with whom he vehemently disagreed. He was respectful, but firm in his beliefs. He never shied away from topics that were divisive and difficult. He never went to college, but he had an immense knowledge from self-education. When I think about Charlie, I think about his children and his wife and the nightmare that they are experiencing now. But I also think about his mother. I too have a 31-year-old son. Could he be gunned down for something that he says or thinks? What has happened to us as Americans that we feel that the best way to handle our differences is to gun down those we don't agree with? What has happened to our sense of connection and community? At the end of the day, we are all in this together, and we all need to take responsibility to fix the current climate which allows this type of horror to occur. Yes, the media is complicit, and yes, our leaders throw around words like Nazis, fascists, war zones, and other demeaning language when they talk about one another. But we each have the ability to look in the mirror and decide how we can change the tone and the climate in our country and even in our town. Can we all talk to someone who we vehemently disagree with in a respectful way? Can we be open to listening to another point of view? But most importantly, can we humanize the other side? As a current Board of Ed member, I have sat at the board table many times and vehemently disagreed with others. But I respect those who would disagree with me, and I am open to listening to other points of view. When I spoke to the Hall High graduation seniors in May, my message to the graduating seniors was, go out and talk to your neighbors and friends. Be willing to hear other points of view, but most importantly, take care of each other. If there is any message of hope that we take away tonight, let it be that we are all Americans. The hate and the divisiveness that has led to this extreme violence this week and in the past must end. We as Americans could learn a lot from Charlie, how he lived his life, and the respect he showed to those he disagreed with.
Thank you, Gail. I actually want to just say a little something concerning Dr. Harris. You know, while we are the minority party in West Hartford, we still are able to get things done across the aisle. And Dr. Harris is a perfect example of that. We did have, for those who don't know, a couple of years ago, the Board of Ed tried to shut down free speech at Board of Education meetings and make it a challenge to be able to talk about topics that were off agenda. And Gail and her colleague Ethan Goldman, who is also a Republican representative on the Board of Ed, was able to work across the aisle with a couple of Democrat folks who also agreed that that was wrong, and they were able to get the policy changed this year. So with your help and us talking across the aisle, we know we can get things done that's right for the people of West Hartford. I want to introduce a new person to our candidate grouping. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Lewis, and I'm running for town council here in West Hartford. It is an honor to be able to speak before you tonight regarding the public assassination of Charlie Kirk. Charlie dedicated a large part of his life to debate. Whether we agreed with him or not, he would always want to hear your perspective and tell you his as well. Debate is a pillar of our history and should be the heartbeat of our future. Debate serves a great purpose, allowing for common ground to be found among adversaries and educating those who will listen. Political discourse shows our nation that no matter how much we disagree, we can still come together on a stage and respect each other with conversation. We must, as a community and as a country, be able to unite under the fact that political violence has never and will never be acceptable in any form. Charlie Kirk's death is an absolute tragedy and a permanent stain on our nation's history. I admired a lot about Charlie and always followed his career. Charlie Kirk had core values that I think every American would benefit from sharing. He strongly supported free speech, courage, faith, and respecting our fellow Americans. I ask each and every person here to take a step back from the political noise that we are consumed with daily and remember that we are all citizens of the same incredible country. We are better than political violence. We are better than spreading misinformation. We are better than demonizing our peers. Thank you to every single person that came here tonight to honor Charlie's life and legacy. He truly was a one of one that brought tremendous change to the world. God bless Charlie Kirk, his family, and the entire United States of America. Thank you, and it really is a privilege to be able to speak to all of you tonight.
Thank you, Ben. I do also want to mention that there are a couple of folks that were not able to be here tonight. Al Cortez, who is your Republican representative on the town council, and also Dr. Jason Wang, who also is running as a candidate for town council. But we will hear his words in a few minutes. And also Maryanne Bleich, who is running for Board of Education in West Hartford. So next up, most of you who are on Facebook on West Hartford probably know this gentleman very well. We call him the West Hartford Weatherman. Running for town council, ladies and gentlemen, John Lyons.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you all for coming to this this important event. We do need to come together as a nation, and this is a great step. Dr. Wang is new to politics. I have immense respect for him. If you drive around town and you see some of the road safety initiatives that are being undertaken, he probably more than any other citizen, so non-employee, non-elected, impacted some of the safety actions being taken in town. I have incredible respect for him, and he was nice enough to ask me to read his remarks tonight, as he couldn't be here. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. I am sorry I couldn't be here in person. I'm terribly sorry for the loss of Charlie, the loss of a voice for young people, for free speech, and loss of a young father and husband. I did not know a lot about Charlie Kirk before. After his death, I learned about him. I realized that although I don't agree with him on every issue, fundamentally, our orbits have crossed in many ways. Charlie fought to renew a sense of faith, a sense of community, and a sense of purpose within young people. In the addiction space, where Dr. Wang works, we are dealing with the consequences of isolation and retreat from community, often in young people. And I'm just going to jump aside here. I thought it was so interesting what Dr. Chai, I'm sorry, I almost said Kai. My wife yells at me for saying that because I never pronounce it right. Dr. Chai said, and I'm hearing that message a lot, and I'm certainly taking it to heart. Although many of us are approaching these issues from different angles, the American democratic process exists to give voice to those concerns and to find solutions. Sometimes the process is painful, but it must and will continue. It will not be silenced by bullets. When we stop getting to know our fellow Americans and stop talking to one another, when we lose sight of our common sense of purpose, we enter a dark place. This process is being supercharged by social media, which amplifies rage and tribalism. All of us on the campaign trail have been heartened by how thoughtful, civil, and meaningful our in-person interaction with voters have been. There's been very little of the toxic rhetoric that you hear online bleeding into the real world. My in-person interactions with voters have reaffirmed my belief that our democratic process really does work. It's a work in progress. It's messy, but it works. Charlie's death to me is a reminder of what we risk if we give up on the democratic process and give up on talking to one another. So let's continue getting to know each other, Republican, Democrat, or other, and continue to have good faith, civil conversations, and yes, disagreements. Let's continue working on bettering this great American experiment that we've all embarked on together and for over 249 years. Thank you to everyone who has come tonight. Thank you to everyone who continues working to better our community and our country every day. Dr. Jason Wang.
And our last candidate for this evening to speak tonight. You know, when your last name begins with Z, I'm sure you're used to going last when going in alphabetical order. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Zelazny. Kyle.
Except for my confirmation when the priest pulled the fast one on me. That was fun. Thank you for coming out today. It's difficult to describe just how much Charlie Kirk meant to young conservatives and what a role model he was for millennial and Gen Z men. The loss of Charlie Kirk is not just political. It is personal, spiritual, cultural, and national. Charlie was a husband, a father, a man of God, and a voice of courage in a time when truth is under attack. For over a decade, he debated those on college campuses, always with a friendly demeanor and smile on his face. And then he was killed for having an opinion and for having the courage to express his political beliefs. As the father of a month-old baby boy, my heart breaks for Erica Kirk and their children. Imagine his daughter asking, "Where is Daddy?" and having to hear, Daddy's on a work trip with Jesus to afford your blueberry budget. That moment from Erica's remarks will stay with me and with millions for the rest of our lives. This isn't politics. This is the heartbreaking human cost of losing a man like Charlie Kirk. Charlie dedicated his life to telling the truth boldly and to protecting our children. He believed that if we failed the next generation, we would risk losing America. That is why his passing cut so deeply and why it was more than a tragedy. It was a targeted political assassination. Anyone mocking his death or attempting to justify it by claiming he spread hate is wrong and must be confronted with the truth that Charlie never answered hate with hate. If you ever heard Charlie respond to those who attacked him or called him racist or bigoted or hateful, you know he never, ever expressed hate. Not even for his fiercest critics, and I think this would apply to his own killer. Charlie would say they'd been led astray or possessed by darkness. He called out their animosity and falsehoods that they perpetrated, but he also acknowledged that they were themselves victims of that. He never denied their humanity. Here's the hope. Charlie's dream of revival is already happening. Turning Point USA has received over 32,000 requests for new chapters across the nation, including some right here in Connecticut. The next generation of conservatives is rising, and it's our job to support them, guide them, and lead them into the truth. Charlie's legacy is his courage and faith. His mission was political and spiritual revival, and it's up to us to carry that forward. As Charlie and now Erica has stated, we will never surrender. Not to the forces that took Charlie from us, and not to those that want to silence debate in search of truth. To the millennials and Gen Z in the crowd, now is the time to get involved and take ownership of your future, our future. One of the more powerful verses of 2 Timothy is as follows: I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. I never met you, Charlie, but after watching hundreds of your videos, I can confidently say that you fought the good fight, you finished the race, and you kept the faith. We will never surrender, and we will keep fighting the good fight. Rest in peace, Charlie.
So folks, again, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight for this vigil and this rally. We appreciate you as West Hartford citizens. We appreciate you as voters. We appreciate you as people who understand what has happened this past week. I ask that as you think about that, you turn that into action. You turn that into talking to your fellow neighbors, and you turn that into being able to help others that are in darkness and don't see the light. For those of you that have your candles, please make sure that you take them home with you so that we don't litter. For those of you who are interested, we do have a newsletter that goes out usually on a monthly basis unless there's something important that we feel voters need to know. So if you want to stay in touch with what's going on with issues in the town of West Hartford or what's going on with our candidates, you certainly can provide us with your contact information in this book here, and we'll add it. Or please visit our website, which is www.whgop.com, and there's all sorts of information about what's going on in the town and what our candidates are doing. Thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it, and God bless you all, and God bless America. Take care.